Well, hello there, friends. Good day to you. I hope that it's a good day. Hey, here in my office today, I have a basket with some stones in it. Now, how many of you have a stone collection? Any of you have stone collection? Nah, probably not very many of us have a stone collection. I have a few rocks that I keep. These are like very round and shiny and smooth, come from like some riverbeds and some things like that. But I don't have a big stone collection. But I enjoy looking at stones. I enjoy looking at old stones. And I'm wondering how many of you have ever visited a cemetery? Some of you have. Some of you have been to cemeteries. I know that some of you have been there for funerals of maybe some of your family members and friends. And it's possible that you don't like to hang out in cemeteries, but yet they can be very special places that we go to honor our family members who are buried there. There's also a lot of history that is found in a cemetery, especially when you look at old stones or old tombstones. Now, in our area here in Lancaster County, there are a lot of old cemeteries that can teach us a lot about history. And I do enjoy walking through old cemeteries and reading the stones. And there's a cemetery in our area that some of you may have passed by and never even noticed or visited. It's at the Ephrata Cloister, and it is this cemetery here that's on the picture. It's called God's Acre Cemetery. And the people who lived at the Ephrata Cloister are buried there. The oldest stone is actually from 1767. I also have some other pictures here of some students that have spent some time recently working at the God's Acre Cemetery at the Ephrata Cloister to preserve some of the stones and to study the history. And here you can see them studying the history and trying to preserve some of the stones. Now, if you're watching these videos in order, you know that we have been talking about faith from Hebrews chapter 11, where it says that faith is being sure of what we hope for. It is being sure of what we do not see. Faith is believing that what God says he will do will happen. Faith is believing that God made the earth even if we weren't there to see it being created. Faith is believing that there is orange soda in this can even if we can't see it. So one of the characters that's mentioned in Hebrews chapter 11 is a man by the name of Joseph. In Hebrews 11:22, it says this: Joseph had faith, so he spoke to the people of Israel about how they would leave Egypt someday. When his death was near, he spoke about where to bury his bones. Now, you may remember Joseph. He had a lot of different stories in the Bible, in the book of Genesis, and you might remember some of them. Joseph and the coat of many colors. You might remember that Joseph was kidnapped and sold as a slave, and he was taken to Egypt, where he actually wound up in prison, then became a free man, became a government leader, moved up to be a very important person in Egypt. He helped to lead his country, or he helped to lead Egypt through a famine. He saved his family from famine. He forgave his brothers, even though they had been very mean to him. But the only mention of his faith story in Hebrews 11 is about where he was buried, or where he was to be buried. Why do you think that is? It says, when his death was near, he spoke about where to bury his bones. Well, in Genesis chapter 50, verses 24 to 25, Joseph is having a conversation with his brothers. He is now the leader of his family. And he says, I'm about to die, but God will surely come to help you. He'll take you up out of this land, out of Egypt. He'll bring you to the land he promised to give to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Joseph made the Israelites promise him. He said, God will surely come to help you. Then you must carry my bones up from this place. Joseph was helping his family, helping his people look forward to a new home, to return to their homeland, to leave Egypt. When we visit cemeteries and look at old stones like this, we are reminded that there is more to our story than our life right now. You know that one day we all will die, and then we will be in a new place which will be even better than what we know now. The men of faith, the people of faith, the women of faith in Hebrews chapter 11 were all waiting for something better. In fact, one verse says that Abraham was waiting for the city that God had planned and built. They longed for a better country. They wanted one in heaven. You know that God has planned something better for us than right now, even as though we can enjoy our life today, and I hope we do. I hope that every day is filled with joy, and it is a good life when we see God in what we do and when we worship Him and praise Him. He does bless us with a good life. However, He has also prepared something better for us, and it's called heaven. And we've talked about heaven before, and we do look forward to the time when we will be with family and friends in heaven, but most importantly, when we will be with God in heaven. And so I wish for you faith to look forward to that day when you will be in heaven with me, with our friends, with our families, with all those who've gone before. And even though we look at old stones now, we know that that's just where the bodies of people are buried. Their souls are with God in heaven. So we're rejoicing in that. So I hope that you can be a person of faith, that you can look forward to the something better that God has prepared for you, just like Joseph did, just like Abraham, Jacob, and Isaac, and the great people of faith. Have a great day. I hope that it is a day filled with peace.